Hello, hello. Oh, today's Wednesday, so I can do my favorite line.
Sure
It's hump day. I'm Ashley Nicole Moss, and it's just me and Corey Holmes today. Corey in the cut. I got Woo in the West. Brandon Marshall is somewhere in the world. I'm not quite sure where he is. He's somewhere in the world, though. But don't worry, we have an incredible show to you. It's jam-packed. We have so many cool guests. We got D-Jack pulling up. Who else do we got? We got Antoine Walker pulling up, which will make Corey very happy with the Heat playing tonight against the Boston Celtics. We'll dive into that. Ja Morant, some football talk. A lot of stuff to get into. Corey, this is where I pass it to you. What we got going
Ashley,
on?
Before we get into it, did you notice what I did today? I switched out the Android laptop.
I did. I noticed I
got an Apple product today.
It's nice and sexy because you with the ThinkPad was throwing me off.
Yeah, I had to get rid of the ThinkPad. We upgraded to the Apple product today. Anyways, yeah, like Ashley said, we got some Ja Morant update and whatnot. We're actually going to talk about Joe Burrow and Davante Adams. Davante Adams had some interesting words to share with everyone yesterday. We're going to get into that. But first, right, we got the Nuggets. They survived a late rally from the Lakers last night.
Yeah.
Is D-Jack on? Is D-Jack with us? No,
also, let's turn these levels up. Some people are saying we're a little low in the chat. I don't know if we got to turn up a little bit for them. We got to turn up. It's hump day, people.
I know, yeah. Give us some grace. But, yeah, man, the Nuggets, they survived a late run from the Lakers. And I don't know if you got a chance to watch the game.
It
was a good one.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Well, I mean, the Nuggets ended up beating them 132 to 126. Jokic and Murray, they balled out. Jokic had a crazy first half. But his, final stats, 34 points, 24 rebounds, 14 assists. Murray, 31 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. The two actually were the first pair of Nuggets to ever score 30 points in a Western Conference final matchup, which I thought was really cool. All right, you're a Lakers fan, right? And
I'm not.
No, I'm saying hypothetically.
I was like,
right?
Corey, you know who I represent. Don't come in here and try me.
No, I was saying hypothetically, right? We know D-Jack, again, we'll have him here on in a few. Hypothetically, you're a Lakers fan. Are you feeling confident going into game 2?
Confident? No.
How about optimistic? Is that a better word?
Optimistic? I would say yeah. I definitely am optimistic going into game 2. I will say, though, I'd be more optimistic going into game 2 in LA. Like I said, people were laughing in the chat, but that altitude is very real. Although, I mean, you could see some of the Lakers look gassed, like earlier than normal. Yeah. But I also think that an interesting part of this game for me was the speed in which the Nuggets played. They didn't really play as slow as they normally do, but they were still able to slow down a fast-paced, loving team like the Lakers. It was like a nice equilibrium for them. Right. And it definitely was interesting to see them still be able to rise to the occasion. It did get close. It was an 8-point game at one point in the fourth quarter, towards the end of the fourth quarter. But it was just, again, down the stretch, the Nuggets were just firing on all cylinders. Everybody was getting a touch of that ball. And it was just really impressive to see. Listen, Anthony Davis gives you 40. That's what you want. That's what you ask for. And if it's still not enough, it's a little bit worrisome. This series, I think, is far from over. I don't think it's going to be a Nuggets sweep. I do think the Lakers will be able to steal 1-2 games. But as you guys know, I had the Nuggets going to the finals. I still have the Nuggets going to the finals, so I think that they go ahead and win this series.
Well, I mean, you mentioned that in the second half, the Nuggets were firing on all cylinders. I feel like the whole game they were firing on all cylinders.
Yeah,
right?
like for sure. But when the game got close, and it looked like they took their foot off the gas, right back on there, and everyone doing their part.
And that's why they ended up getting the dub. The Lakers just had a phenomenal second half. I think they shot over 60% in the second half. So, kudos to them. But the Nuggets, like I said, just throughout the whole game, they were really looking very solid. I mean, we know Jokic borderline had a triple-double in the first half. I think he had 19, 15, and like 4 in the first half, right? I mean, he was hitting all his shots from anywhere he wanted to hit his shots from. Did you see the step-back shot he had made? I think it was like in the third quarter, right?
I mean, watching this man play is incredible to me because we talk about this all the time. I know in the chat the other day, everyone was laughing at my joke, but when I say white refrigerator, I just mean that he's not like this physical specimen. He's not like an Adonis type, like a LeBron or a Giannis. He doesn't have that physique. And just looking at him, he doesn't look like a hooper. Right. Like, think about it. If you saw Jokic walking down the street outside of his size and we just went off his body type, you wouldn't think that this guy was a professional basketball player.
Maybe an offensive lineman or something, right?
Right. Like, he doesn't look like a hooper. And it's just honestly incredible watching him play and the things that he's able to do, and it's virtually impossible to stop him from doing them.
Yeah.
Like, his court vision, his court awareness, like, his bag is so deep without having the true flashiness of like basketball players that we're used to seeing and we like watching. His talent it's amazing.
Yep.
I'm a big fan. I love watching him play.
To make like a football comparison, he's just like that quarterback that doesn't have like crazy arm talent. He's not super fast, but he just makes the right decision every single time.
Every single time.
Yeah, that's Jokic.
Sure.
I mean, and so in the first half, of course, he was attacking them offensively. Then in the second half, they made that adjustment. He started to quiet down on the offensive end. But then I say from a scoring standpoint, but then he started finding his guys, right? And they continued to hit shots. And that's honestly ultimately why they, ended up finishing the game. But yeah, like you said, Anthony Davis, 40 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists. He did his thing. LeBron James added like another 20 points and whatnot. Austin Reeves, he hits a lot of big shots late in the game. So, I'm feeling pretty optimistic about the Lakers, honestly. I think they do have a chance to win, game 2 if they can put it all together. If they can play it how they did in the second half, in the first half.
Which for me is the biggest. I had this conversation yesterday with some people, and I think for me the biggest question mark with the Lakers is giving Anthony Davis credit. I think he's done a phenomenal job of being consistent this postseason, which is one of the biggest question marks we had about him all season, and rightfully so, because it was very up and down and then injuries in between that. But I think for me, what the starting 5 of the Denver Nuggets is going to give you. You may not know numbers specifically, and some may, they fluctuate, and some days it's an MPJ game, and some days it's a Jamal Murray game. But you do know that they're going to give you productivity and they're going to give you consistency in some aspects. I think the biggest question mark with the Lakers, not LeBron, not Anthony Davis, it's more of that supporting cast. You're not always going to get a Lonnie Walker game. You're not always going to get an Austin Reeves game. You're not always going to get a Rue game. So you have to take advantage when you do get those games, and the fact that they let this one slip from them when you did get a great game from one of your supporting cast members is a little bit worrisome because you may not get that again in game 2.
Yeah, and it really was that for all of them, right? I mean, I guess, Hachimura, he had 17 points, right? But he was a big part of really them slowing down Jokic in the second half, right? That was an adjustment that they made. They put Rui on Jokic and then allowed Anthony Davis actually to help, and that we'll see if that's what they resort to in game 2. But to your point, Austin Reeves, he had 23 points, was 5 for 9 from 3. You had LeBron James, of course, had a double-double, 26 points, 12 rebounds. So to your point, for them to play such a good game as they did, and they didn't get the dub, that is pretty concerning. But I mean, it was just a bad first half on their part. So, we'll see when we'll revisit this conversation a little bit later.
What was D'Lo's stats? Did he?
D'Lo,
yeah,
he did not do much.
Did D'Lo not do much?
He had 8 points. He was 4 for 11.
Points.
Yeah.
Well, there's one of your problems right there.
Right, and had 3 assists. So yeah, he's gonna have to step it up.
So Hachimura gave you the most points off the bench. They started Austin Reeves.
Yep, they did.
So you had 3 starters in double digits.
It was a short rotation for him last night too.
Definitely short rotation for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it was just Hachimura, Walker, and Vanderbilt coming off.
Yeah, Lonnie Walker single digits. You have Schroeder single digits. Russell single digits. So you only had 4 players in double digits, and one of them came off your bench.
Yep. Oh, we got DJ. There you go.
What's going on?
Boss man, what's up with it? How are you?
What up?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
We doing good, man. We was just talking about your Lakers. You a Lakers fan, right?
Sick right now.
Sick, huh? Yeah. What are your thoughts on the game from yesterday?
Man, the way Denver played yesterday, man, I think for them to come out like that, game 1 at home, I think first and foremost, Denver is a tough atmosphere to play in alone. You know what I'm saying? So I think they played their best ball yesterday. I mean, they couldn't miss. I mean, it was like they couldn't do nothing wrong. I mean, like you said, Jokic, Murray, I mean, them guys, even Bruce Brown, I mean, they played out their mind. And, for us to kind of be down so big in that game and to come back, how we came back and be down, within like 3 with the minute left. I mean, for us, that gives us, I wouldn't say hope. That just lets us know that Denver can't play like that every game. You know what I'm saying? The shots they made some incredible, crazy shots. And, for me, it's kind of mind-boggling to be able to say we only lost by, 6 or something like that. And I think the point spread was 5. It just was crazy. But I feel like they played their best ball. And for us, I didn't like that shot LeBron took, with down 3, that 3-pointer, like, that's not really your game, bro. Like, drive to the basket. We didn't need a 3 at that point. If we go down, score 2 points, and then come back, get a stop, and we come back, we got a chance to win the game. For me, that just I didn't like that shot from LeBron, and they won that game, but we got to win game 2, man, for sure. If we go back to LA 0-2, that's gonna be tough, man.
Yeah. How you feeling? I mean, you think that is a game that they're able to take? Did you like? Cause we were talking about the adjustments they made in the second half, right? I think that really showed the Lakers like, all right, we could hang with them if we can put it all together. Like, you think game 2 they'll put it all together, or you think Jokic and the gang are making some adjustments too?
Man, Denver's the number 1 seed for a reason, man.
Right.
I think a lot of. Let's go back a little bit. The Lakers. I mean, we was a surface team all the way throughout. To the end of, the regular season. When we got into the. Into the playoff. I mean, we got into the playoffs, and then it was like all of a sudden they just caught fire. We made some great moves, right after the trade deadline and stuff like that, or right before the trade deadline, and got some players in. So, this Laker team, they're gelling together in a lot of these new pieces, but we wasn't no team that was just like, oh, the Lakers is gonna win. Like, everybody didn't really think, they didn't know. You know what I'm saying?
No,
I'm saying that to say, like, man, it's gonna be interesting, man. I definitely like our odds, but once again, we wasn't the talk of the regular season. We got into the to the playoffs, and now we got Brown and we got all these pieces that help. But it's just like, I'm optimistic, but once again, we came up versus the team. We just beat Steph Curry and the Splash Brothers,
right.
But like, now we playing Denver. Like, Denver's a different level of team. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's just exciting to see, but I think we should be able to get it. It's going to be a tough series, though, for sure.
Yeah. How many games do you think the series go to?
Yeah, honestly, I want to say 6, bro, but after that game last night, this might be a 7-game series,
right.
bro. Like,
that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm
definitely got to come together. I'm going to be at game 3, though, when they come back to LA. I'm going to that game. I can't miss this series.
There you go. Ashley, what you think? You think it's going the distance? You think it's going in 6? Or what did your prediction say? We did put our predictions
I had Denver
up.
in –
I think you had Denver in 7.
Let
right?
me look it up. I think I did have
right.
Denver in 7. Maybe I had them in 6.
And I think I had. I think I got Lakers in 6.
I had Nuggets in 7 when they faced Boston.
Oh, okay.
I think I had Nuggets in 6 versus LA.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll see. We shall see. All right, moving on, guys. Ja Morant, he released his first statement since his suspension. Right. So. This is what it says. It said, "Now I know I've disappointed a lot of people who have supported me. This is a journey I recognize there is more work to do. My words may not mean much right now, but I take full accountability for my actions. I'm committed to continuing to work on myself." Now, like I said, this was his first statement since the suspension. His first time he's gone public. Now, D-Jack, I know we haven't had you on and whatnot, to kind of even get your thoughts on the situation. We were talking about this yesterday. What are your thoughts just really on this whole situation and then this statement that he just recently released?
Ah, man, it's mind-boggling, man. It's for me, man. Ja Morant, first and foremost, is a hell of a talent, hell of a player. I look at him as, one of them guys. He's the face of the NBA at a young age, right? Just his style of play and, what he's able to do on the court. Off the court is what concerns me about him. And, I'm saying this to say I don't want to be too hard on him because, once again, he's young. He has the world in his hands. And I don't personally know him, but the mistakes that he's making, at this point is concerning for me, because of the type caliber player he is, and being a franchise player, and being a guy that all these kids are looking up to. My kid looks up to him. Like, all these kids, they want to be him. My issue is, this new era of the social media, man. When I was, my first few years in the NFL, when I was in Philly, I did some mind-boggling things myself, and I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm the perfect person as well, but I mean, we make mistakes in life, but just the decision making concerns me about him, man. And it's almost like you got to understand, man, because you don't want to be in a situation where you're continuously making these mistakes, and then it's too late.
Right.
So for me, I think it's the people around him. I think it's his circle. I think it's his friends. You know, and he really needs somebody to mentor him, man. He needs somebody to really be able to look up to and, you know, just pull his coattail and be like, you know, these are things you got to stay away from. You know, yeah, all the music and the NBA YoungBoy and all these, you know, going to clubs, partying, having fun. Once again, he's young, man. He's a kid, you know, and I'm saying that to say it comes with a big responsibility. But, you know, for me, he really needs to tap in. He really needs to take that, you know, constructive criticism from somebody that really cares about him and doesn't care about the money he's making or the statistics or the status he has. He really needs to, like, tune in to somebody that really cares about him and kind of just take some advice, you know. And I even posted a post the other day on Instagram, and I know he has something on his Instagram where you can't tag him, but it's just like, man, tap in with the people that's, you know, grew up in that area that came from the streets. Because, you know, I grew up in the streets, bro, and as much as we glorify that and praise that lifestyle, you know, I done had friends die in front of me. I done seen guys get shot. Like, I done seen my boys catch murder cases. And it's just like, as much as we want to portray that, much we think that's cool, man. You get money, man, and stay away from that stuff, man. Get out the hood, stay away from that. Yeah, it's okay to hang with them and have fun, but it's just like, be careful what you put out there, man. That's just my biggest thing on that.
Yeah, you got to be smart about it. Ashley, your thoughts on his statement?
I mean, we spoke about this when Stack was on Monday, right. And, you know, I agree with D-Jack. You know, when we're young, we make mistakes, but then, you know, once is a mistake, twice is a choice. You actively chose to make the same decision that got you suspended the first time. Mm-hmm. So I agree. It's the decision-making that's the most concerning because he knows right from wrong. He's just choosing to continue to do the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, there's nothing you can do to him outside of continuing to suspend him and him making a decision for himself to do better. You can't force him to do better. He has to want to do better on his own. And I had this conversation with Stack, and this was my take. He needs to figure out why being the face of the NBA, one of the faces of the NBA, being an athlete, being an NBA athlete at that player. I mean, when we talk about NBA and NFL, we're talking about the upper echelon of athletes. They say collegiate athletes, only 1.3% of athletes who play in college will make a professional league. Mm-hmm. That's it's such a opportunity that is just so hard to come by. And he needs to figure out why reaching that pinnacle and capitalizing on this opportunity that people would kill for is not enough for him. And it's unfortunate that I know people will say, oh, change your circle of friends and things like that. And maybe he does need to, but that also is the decision that he needs to make. All of these roads lead back to Ja. Ja's in charge of changing the trajectory of his career and his reputation so far, and he's young enough that he can do it. And I know people say, oh, well, he's in Memphis, it's an open carry state, he's not doing anything illegal. 100%, that's accurate, that's completely factual, but here's the thing. As we all know, D-Jack, you know, playing in the NFL and us, you know, working in the space of media, when you are tied to a brand, you represent that brand. You can't just do whatever you want. And I understand whether it's illegal or not, but Ja Morant represents the NBA. He's a byproduct of the NBA. And the NBA is not going to jeopardize the reputation of a multi-billion-dollar business so Ja can do whatever he wants to do on Instagram. There are repercussions to your actions. And when you are in a position, that's where the saying, heavy is the head that wears the crown. When you are or to whom much is given, much is required. This is exactly what that means. Like, I understand you're young, but there also comes a point where you have to grow up faster than maybe you're ready to. And that could be a bunch of different circumstances. We spoke about this on Monday. Maybe you become a young father. Maybe you lose your parents. Or maybe you're in a situation, a position where you have a lot of eyes on you and a lot of money being brought in, a lot of people depending on you. You may have to grow up faster than a normal 23-year-old. And that may be hard to do. But that is what comes with this type of responsibility. And he needs to, unfortunately, grow up. Yeah. And he needs to grow up quickly because eventually the chances for the same thing start to wear out. Yeah. And the forgiveness and the grace people extend you start to wear out. And then you're in then we're having a different conversation.
Yeah. Well, we saw, the commissioner, Adam Silver, say in an interview yesterday, before the NBA draft, in investigating the situation, they're expecting the worst, right? So, I mean, do you think it's going to be a lengthy suspension for Ja Morant, DJ? Like, you think that's probably what it's going to take for him to kind of just receive this message?
I think first and foremost, they have to set the example. And it's unfortunate that he's the example. You know, this is a second offense. And I want to go back to speak on a little bit what Ashley spoke on. Correct. Memphis is an open state, right? You know, he's not doing nothing illegal. But once again, it's always the saying. When you become a professional athlete, it's always the saying, protect the shield. The NBA logo, the NFL logo, the MLB logo, all these professional sports clubs, you have to protect the shield. And if I'm the Memphis Grizzlies and this guy is worth $200 million, do I want to continuously keep investing $200+ million? You have sponsorships. You have, you know, all these kids looking up to him. Like, is that what I want my franchise leader to look like? So he's not protecting the shield. So for me, I mean, the first offense was, 8 games? Second offense, I would at least say it has to be plus 25 games. And for me, that's not going to sit right. If I'm a teammate, for one, and you're the point guard and a franchise player, like, I'm going to feel away. So for me, if I'm a teammate, and I know he doesn't really have too many teammates on his team that really could be able to call him out because no one's as big as him on his team. But for me, if I'm one of them guys on there, man, I would call him and reach out and hopefully just be like, look, bro, I understand what you're going through. Maybe I don't understand, but look, man, we need you on this court, man. So whatever I can do to be here to help you, like, you need, and this time he needs people more of support. Like, I know everybody's so quick to bash him. But, you know, he needs more people in support. You know what I'm saying? Because this world we're in, man, mistakes are going to happen. We're not perfect. No one's perfect. I'm not perfect. No one's sitting, like, there's nobody. The commissioner's not perfect. You know what I'm saying? So for me, at the end of the day, yeah, give him plus 25 games, and I think it will be lengthy. But at the end of the day, man, he can't continuously keep doing the same mistakes over and over.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. They have to make an example of him at this point because now it's, okay, we gave you a suspension the first time around that may or may not have been a little light. It may have been what they call a superstar suspension. If you were a bench player, it probably would have got a lot longer the first time around, right? So you take that gift, if you want to, let's call it that. Like, you take that gift, a lighter suspension, and you squander it only a few weeks later. So now what you're doing is forcing the hand of the NBA, because think about it in terms of something smaller, right? For people who have kids. I don't have kids. D-Jack, you have kids. Corey, you got kids?
No,
walking
man.
around here? Okay,
No,
just
man.
making sure. Just asking. I don't know how you be moving out here. Listen,
Right.
when a kid does something wrong and you punish them or you tell them not to do it, and then they do it again, now you have to punish them because I told you not to do it. I gave you the leniency of not being punished because of the first time around. You took that and you took it for granted, and now you did the same action. So now a punishment has to come because that's the only way for you to learn there are repercussions to your actions.
Yeah.
It's a similar ideology with Ja. They gave him a lighter suspension off of his action, and instead of learning from that and saying, okay, I kind of got off easy the first time around,
Right.
let me go ahead and not do this again, he pushed his luck and forced the hand of the NBA, of the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, if they don't give him a lengthier suspension, a larger suspension, they look like they're playing that as long as you're a superstar in the NBA, the rules don't apply to you. And what the brand of the NBA represents doesn't apply to you. So now they're literally what D-Jack is saying is factual. Their hand is forced. Like, now they have to make an example of you because you left them no choice.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that he's going to have to learn the hard way.
Yeah. Certainly a situation would be moving forward. But all right, we're going to transition to some football, right? Yesterday, via a report from Myron Fodder of The Ringer, All-Pro wide receiver Davante Adams explained why last season was such an important season for him, right? More so than any year in his 10-year career, it was important for him to make All-Pro, right? And that was because it was his first season without quarterback Aaron Rodgers, which a lot of people tied, a lot of his success on the field to, right? So this is what he said. He said, now people can't say that, right? That'll never be the narrative again. It proved that I'm me. A quarterback doesn't make me. I make me. And I can do it consistently at this level, right? I mean, last year, Davante Adams, 100 catches, 1,500 yards, 14 touchdowns. He led the NFL in touchdowns. DJ, Davante Adams, right? The legacy he's laid out thus far. Will he go down as one of the better receivers to play the position?
And first and foremost, man, I gotta say it. Shots fired. Hey, man, that dude is a dog, man. He came out like, his whole career, obviously, we all know Aaron Rodgers going down to one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. Personally, me, I want to say he's top 5, Aaron Rodgers. So to be able to play with a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers and be Davante Adams, I 100% feel where he's coming from because of the wide receiver. Yeah, you can have a great quarterback, but he still has to get open, right? He still has to run his route. He still has to be precise. He still has to be at a certain position or a certain, time frame. So for me, man, Davante Adams is for sure a Hall of Fame player, man. His statistics alone and what he's accomplished in 10 years in the NFL, man, are definitely special. I think he has a different aspect to his game that not a lot of players have. He's like a one-of-one type of player, man. And for him to go to the Raiders last year, for me, like I know him and Derek Carr had something going because they was college teammates, but I didn't see that coming. Like because I played the year before I played with Derek Carr.
You did, right?
I know the areas Derek Carr struggled at. So for me, for them to miss that much time together and then come play together like that last year, and even Derek Carr missed a little bit and he played with the other quarterback as well too. So. Just what he's done last year, man, just speaks to him, and I tip my hat out to him. And, he just really shows that he's a special kind of player. So I definitely think he's a Hall of Fame player. And, I'm excited to see, man, what he continues to add to his career, man, because he's definitely a special kid.
Yeah. Ashley, your thoughts on his comments?
Let me go ahead and see that quote again.
Yeah.
I want to dissect it.
I was shot fired.
Right.
Now people can't say that. Adam says, that'll never be the narrative ever again. It proved that I am me. A quarterback doesn't make me. I make me. And I can do it consistently at this level. Hey, man, listen, the bromance of Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers may no longer exist. I'm not. You know what though? I'm not surprised by this. He leaves Green Bay under, some will say, smoky situation because Aaron Rodgers is kind of dragging his feet on making a decision, and Davante Adams had to look out for Davante Adams, and he ended up going to the Raiders, and the Carr situation, and between the Raiders organization gets messy, and Carr ends up leaving, and now he has Jimmy Garoppolo. And it's been a lot of change for him in a very short window of time. I'm here for this comment, though. I think he's going to have a great season with Jimmy Garoppolo. But I don't think, what's interesting, though? I don't think anybody ever thought that Aaron Rodgers made Davante Adams. I don't know about y'all, but when I watched Davante Adams play, I was never like, oh, this is a byproduct of Aaron Rodgers. I was like, this guy is nice. Like, I never equated it to a quarterback.
It must have been in like the Green Bay media market where they tried to create
the
that
homers?
narrative. Yeah, it could have been
I think that just might be the stigma, man. When you have a great quarterback like that, and a lot of these, you got to think, let's go back in time, from Greg Jennings, to Jordy Nelson, to Randall Cobbs, you know what I'm saying? It continues to repeat. So if you see guys keep repeating, and I'm not saying none of them guys are on Davante's level, but if you're starting to see, time after time, he's made this player, he's made this player, so then it's like it almost falls in line to him kind of being that same type of player. So I can understand how they say a quarterback makes the player, but at the end of the day, like you said, he's his own player. He's the dog.
Right. And all of those names that you mentioned, I think he's on a separate list from even those guys. I think he's a lot. I think he was definitely Aaron Rodgers' best receiver, the best receiver he played.
I think there's an argument to be made that Davante Adams made Aaron Rodgers look even better. I don't think it was the other way around. I know we have this argument, what came first, the chicken or the egg, when we talk about Belichick and Tom Brady. But I think that Aaron Rodgers is an exceptional quarterback. But let's be honest. I guess what side of the argument you're on. What good is a quarterback with no receivers to throw to, and what good is a receiver with no quarterback to throw to? I'm on the firm believer, though, that a receiver, even with an average quarterback, an exceptional receiver can still make something happen. But I don't know if the same can be said in reverse, in the other side of the argument. I don't know. D-Jack, where do you stay on that?
Nah, you can't. I can't throw the ball to myself. That's gonna be tough.
So
if I'm with a slap, you know what, quarterback, it's not gonna be able to be too good. This is my question for you guys. Derek Carr, right? Would you put Derek Carr and Jimmy Garoppolo in kind of the same tier? And if not, how do you think Davante is going to do with Jimmy Garoppolo? Because I like Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he's a decent quarterback, but I don't. You're gonna get what you're gonna get from him. And it's almost kind of similar to Derek Carr. It's like he almost reaches a peak. So what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, that's funny that you asked that, right? That was gonna be my question to you too, and I would kind of put him in that same tier as like a Derek Carr, right? Certainly not on the level of like Aaron Rodgers.
Carr's like here, and Jimmy Garoppolo's like here.
Okay, so you would even put Garoppolo like a tier below Derek Carr?
This is not even a tier. This is more like he's a couple rows back. If we're in a seating, if we're in a movie theater, Derek Carr is closer to the screen, and then you have Jimmy Garoppolo further, a little bit, a couple rows in the back. But
they in the same section.
We're in the same section, exactly. They're in the same section.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, I think he's capable of producing a year similar to the way he did last year, right? Like I think Jimmy Garoppolo's good enough to where Davante Adams still gonna be able to get his. He's gonna be able to put the ball where it needs to where Davante Adams can make the play, and he's gonna do what he does. Like that's why he's great, right? And well, DJ, it's funny that you mentioned that, right? Because Adams in a separate report said that he's not really seeing eye to eye with the people in the front office, right, about what direction the offense is headed in. So, like, what are your expectations from them as an offense? You know, him, Jimmy Garoppolo, they still got Josh Jacobs. I can imagine, a part of what he was saying was because, they just got rid of their all-pro tight end, right? So who's filling that void and whatnot? So what are your expectations for Adams and the Raiders going into next season?
Man, it's interesting, man. I honestly I'm here to see what they do, man. I have a real great relationship with Josh Jacobs. He's like a little brother to me, and I know he's simultaneously trying to get his long-term deal done, and I don't see why they're wasting their time or dragging their feet on him, man. He's a special player. He had a hell of a year last year, but that's crazy. You did speak on that a little bit because last year I know Davante Adams. And even Derek Carr, they really wasn't seeing eye to eye with Josh McDaniels. And let's not forget, Josh McDaniels is a hell of an offensive coordinator, but he doesn't get the same. I wouldn't call it respect, but he doesn't get the same. He doesn't get that same level of, like, from your players, respect when you're the head coach for some reason. Like, I hear a lot of kickback on how he runs his program, and I think he's trying to run too much like a Belichick. So for me, I'm interested to see what's going to go on this year. They lost Darren Waller. Fabian Monroe, the other tight end, is gone. Yeah. So I'm interested to see, man. Like, I know they have Hunter Renfrow there, but I don't know about their weapons, man. I think they need a little more help in the offensive area, and Davante Adams is one player and he's a hell of a player, but it's going to be hard. A lot of teams, even when they double him, he still gets open. So I'm just excited to see what Josh McDaniels is going to do because they don't have Derek Carr no more, and I know they're going to try to change around their offense a little bit. So I'm excited to see, but nothing to say. Excuse me about that. Nothing to say. Damn, I lost my thought. Nothing to say about the Davante Adams, though, because I think he's for sure going to still have a hell of a year. So yeah, I'm excited to see that.
It's going to be hard, too, because the AFC's loaded.
It is.
If Jimmy Garoppolo and Davante Adams were the NFC, you could make an argument that they could make it to the conference championship. I mean, that's just how less talented, I'll say, the NFC is compared to the AFC. I think that's going to be their biggest obstacle. I mean, of course, I think the team needs work, but it's also we're talking about the same conference that has Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, now Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it's not a easy conference, like from multiple divisions. It's going to be really easy. I mean, it's going to be very difficult. And I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo's a winner. He does enough to help you win games. But when you're in a conference that we're talking MVPs and Super Bowl winners, they may get lost in the sauce a little bit. They're not going to be a complete horrendous football team, but I feel like we're going to be looking at more of a middle of the road, possibly a wild card team. Yeah. But I don't see this team having enough juice to compete with the big boys.
I was going to put it into perspective for you guys. You think they're like a 7 to 10 win team, 10 plus win team, or are you giving them like lower than that?
No, that's about right. That's about right.
7 to 10, 7 to 10 wins.
Yeah, 7 to 10 or 500. I think around 5.
Right
but
there.
This what I was gonna say too, because you know, we don't have our boy B on today, but my thing is, what is Denver gonna do? I'm curious. You know, he talked a lot this offseason about Denver, and then it kind of switched because when I was getting on Russell Wilson, he was like, "Oh, why are you doing that? They actually did good." And then all of a sudden, everything switched over to, now it's back to the Jets. And
the Jets. He's been real loud about the Jets, huh?
Well, listen, Brandon's in the chat, so. Brandon's been in the chat, you know, arguing with fans, arguing with people in the chat. Listen, we are going to get into more NBA talk. Don't worry. I know everybody wants to talk about Wembanyama and all that. We're definitely going to get into it. Corey wants to talk about his team versus the Celtics.
Absolutely.
The team that shall remain nameless on my end. We're going to get into all of that. But yeah, Brandon's in the chat, causing chaos and being messy from a distance. I don't know what island he's ducked off to last minute, but we're here. We're also on Sirius XM, so if you guys want to tune into that, Faction Talk 103. In case you're not listening live on YouTube, you can also listen while you're driving, while you're meeting up with Brandon at whatever island we weren't invited to.
What he doing? What he doing? Ashley being messy? What he talking about?
Listen, let's scroll through some of Brandon Marshall's comments. Let me see which ones I can find. He said too soon with the bang bang gun thing regarding Davante Adams fresh off the Ja Morant conversation. That's about right. Brandon Marshall getting
he said
messy,
too soon.
folks.
I get it.
Get it? Let's see. He wants people to know that he's here. He keeps saying, I'm here. Brandon, if you're listening, you said you were in the chat. Defend your Denver Broncos, because D-Jack is not a believer.
For real.
Yeah, he's not a believer. He says, let's ride backwards.
He's just hopping around. I mean, it was all Denver for a minute, then all of a sudden it's the Jets. Oh, we got Aaron Rodgers. I'm just confused. I know he played for both teams.
You missed it yesterday. He went from, I asked him who he was a fan of. I wanted to get everyone's football allegiance in the studio. And Brandon goes, well, I grew up a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I was like, but I'm a Jets fan. But I also like the Bears. But you know I love the Denver Broncos.
You got a lot of
I was like, Brandon, please pick a struggle. He's the same with basketball, in case you were wondering.
He's the confused stepchild, man. He don't know which parent he likes.
Yeah, he's apparently got a lot of step parents. And also when it comes to basketball, he's a Nets/Lakers/Cavs fan. Right. So
all over the place.
I think he's just trying to cover multiple bases so that one of them is correct. You know what I mean?
So I think we got a comment from him.
You know what I figured out about Brandon, man? He just wants to feel love, man. That's all. He's just getting a little love.
Oh, so now you know. He said Sean Payton. That's what he said.
He also
Sean
said
Payton.
Russ is the most winningest quarterback ever. So that's his answer to your Denver doubt. Sean Payton and Russell Wilson being the most winningest quarterback ever. What's your rebuttal to that?
I like Russell. I like Russell's a hell of a quarterback. I'll give it to Russell. I'm gonna just say the past 2 years has been a little struggle, and I don't care what the stats been, the statistics. The last 2 years has been a little struggle, especially last year. I mean, for him to leave Seattle the way he left, I'm thinking he's going to Denver and going to change them around and snap of the finger. So. And I know sometimes things doesn't work right away, but I expected more out of him last year. I'm not taking nothing away from him, but all I'm gonna say, if I'm an owner or I'm a general manager or whatever, when he comes and plays in our stadium, just play some Future music before the game.
Do you? I think Future music might be banned from like Denver practices, the Denver stadium. I would be willing.
That's why I said if I'm an opposite team, you got to hear that. If I'm the opposite team and they come into our home stadium,
oh crap!
Future playlist.
Play a little March Madness.
Have the Future playlist ready.
I'm gonna be petty. I'm petty.
Are you buying the reports that have kind of been circulating over the past few months that Russell Wilson is not highly liked by his teammates, whether past teammates in Seattle and current teammates in Denver? And do you think that's going to cause a problem for them this season and an even harder task for Sean Payton to kind of overcome?
Good question. For me, I haven't never heard that about Russell as far as being a bad teammate or not liked by his teammates. I just think once you get in the media, as far as the social media, let's go to Instagram and, you know, now he's been with Sierra and everything is publicized. I think, you know, sometimes teammates can take certain things a little differently. You know what I'm saying? And it's for me, I don't like to get caught up in what people's personal lives are, but sometimes perceive a image that comes out differently. And when he was in Seattle, I never saw that. Just last year, I saw teammates getting on him on the sideline that I've never saw before, and it was kind of mind-boggling. I'm like, damn, like, why all of a sudden you got offensive lineman, defensive lineman coming up to him, yelling at him, and it's just like the personality of a wrestler is not going to give me that hit back where it's like, if you yelling at me, I'm gonna yell back at you. Like he's not that type of player. So for me, it has to be something behind the lines that we're not seeing, and it's just for me. I don't know. I think sometimes people get caught up in seeing people's personal life and thinking they're not in tune or they're not as dedicated because, you know, they're out hanging out. You might be on Instagram with your wife doing all these different, you know what I'm saying? Like, people look into things differently, you know, and I know I might be nitpicking at the social media and what he's doing on Instagram, but 9 times out of 10, people are maybe jealous of him because he's dating Sierra. I don't know.
Yeah. That could be right. That could be right. You never know, man. You got a superstar wife. I hear that. We do have a fan question for you. They want to know what team you'll be playing for next season. Go St. Patrick.
Hint.
Uh-oh.
Played 15 years, man. I don't know, man. It might be time to hang them things up. I don't know. Right now, I'm not worried about the NFL, man. I'm actually enjoying my time.
Wow.
And I know I said that last year. Don't get me wrong, because I know if Brandon was here, he'd be like, wait, DJ, you said that last year. I'm honestly, man, I'm not pressed right now, man. I don't really feel like I have anything else to prove. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying I don't have nothing left in the tank, but it's just like I'm healthy. You know, I got my 2 beautiful boys that I'm raising right now that I actually have full time. They're living with me, and you know, it's my first time, you know, in my life where they're actually with me full time. I'm taking them to school every morning. That's why I was a little late. Sorry, you know, for being a little late, but you know, yeah, man, I'm just really enjoying my time. I have a lot of business, you know, adventures I'm into right now, and you know, these feet kicked up. That, you know, if any given time, you know, I know Weddle actually came out of retirement and played in the playoffs for the Rams. So if any given time one of these teams want to call, you know, about 17, 18, right before playoffs and hit me up for a playoff run, I'll be there.
Right, for sure.
What if you had to choose right now? Like, say it's the playoffs. Both these teams are in the playoffs. They have a very good chance of going all the way. You get a phone call from these 2 teams. On this line, it's the Baltimore Ravens. You got OBJ. You got Lamar Jackson. But on this line, it's your beloved Philadelphia Eagles. You got Jalen Hurts. You got Devontae Smith.
That's a good one.
Which phone are you answering, and which side are you going to?
Sheesh, that's a good one.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm going to I'm gonna bleed that green, man. I'm going to Philly, man.
That's a good answer.
I'm going to Philly, man. Nah, Philly for sure. When I retire, I definitely to hint to y'all that too. I'm definitely gonna retire Philadelphia Eagle, man. I was one of the best places I've been, and you know, I had a lot of success there, and just, you know, something about Philadelphia, man, that Eagle green, man, sits different with me.
Yeah, you got some crazy highlights in those uniforms, for sure.
I mean, I unfortunately was on the bad receiving end of a lot of those too. Yep. So let's not go down memory lane, folks.
I still remember the punt return, yo. I still remember the punt return against the Giants.
I'm a Cowboys fan, so.
My God.
I was about to say, I know you're not no Giants.
No, that's unfortunately that's this one over
here.
Yeah,
right. That's Woo from the West.
I'm a Cowboys fan, so I remember those battles a little bit too vividly.
I did the Cowboys. I like to call y'all the Cowgirls, but I did y'all
the Cowgirls.
So original, Cowgirls. Haven't heard that one before.
Hey,
I can say that.
Yeah. Hey, DJ, before you leave, though, we just had one more topic. It was regarding another, you know, we've been talking about AFC quarterbacks and whatnot. We'll stay along that theme. But Joe Burrow, right? You know, a lot of stuff has been servicing around him and his, you know, contract extension talks and whatnot. But in a report from Miles Simon, from Pro Football Talk, we had a quote from Burrow, and it said, "I'm pretty clear on what I want in the contract and what I think is best for myself and for the team. So we're on the road to making that happen. You've got to have good players. It doesn't matter how good your quarterback is if you don't have good players around him. You're not going to be a very good team." And now Burrow's number 1 target, right, wide receiver Jamar Chase, he had a few comments, you know, on Joe Burrow's statements once he heard them. This is what he says. He says, yo, Burrow, he wants to win. He's not a big guy on money. He knows he's the best quarterback in the league. He doesn't need the money to prove that. He wants to look out for the people around him and keep the team around him. Now, DJ, I mean, you obviously, we just finished talking about it, right? You played in the league. Does this raise the level of play of the guys in the locker room when you have a quarterback like Joe Burrow who's just selfless as he is?
100%, man. And I know we talked about that when I was on, I think a month ago, talking about Joe Burrow. Man, that's giving me Tom Brady sounded like, man, like, you know, what they did in New England for all them years, man. Like, figuring out, like, we don't have big-time players, but we are able to keep, like, average players around. But the average players, you're getting more out of them because guess why? Because your main guy, who is your quarterback, he doesn't have the $500 million deal like the Patrick Mahomes and things of that era. So for me, I think they're trying to build something different there. I think it's for long term. I think they're trying to add pieces to the puzzle, and they know for a quarterback to get that type of money, it's going to be hard to add the pieces they might want to the team, to their roster, to have a dynasty type team like the New England Patriots were for that period of time when they had Tom Brady there. And I can go on and on about the pieces and, you know, plugs they put in. So for me, to have your team and your star receiver come out, because guess what? Jamar Chase will be up for a new deal. Maybe after this year, if they don't get it done this year, he's going to be up soon.
And then Higgins is right behind him.
I think that's a great thing to have. And for me, it just sounds like a guy that's came for money. I mean, because I'm not going to lie. Like, I played at a high level, and I come from a different area, and I'm not taking no pay cut for no deal.
He said Johnny Manziel.
Right.
At the end of the day, we all play this game to take care of our family, man, and be able to, you know, do some cool things in life. And we put ourselves in harm's way. You know, at any given time, you know, anything can happen on that field. So I'm saying that to say, you know, I've been across a lot of people that's, you know, come up a little different, you know, maybe be coming from a wealthy family. You know, we don't know what that speaks for Joe Burrow, but what I will say, I tip my hat off to him, and hopefully, I think when we see that deal, it's going to still spark the numbers. I think it still might be something crazy, but at the end of the day, I think they'll structure it to where it's like they're able to add in other contracts and other pieces that they can bring to the pod.
100%. I think it's going to be kind of not in the same amount of money, but it's going to be remnant of a Patrick Mahomes deal where it's still team friendly, but your guy's still getting paid. And I think also, like, listen, when your guy says, oh, he doesn't care about money, everyone cares about money, let's be honest.
Right.
But I think that also when you're in a situation like Joe Burrow, where you know your team's going to take care of you, it's like you're not worried. You know, there are other situations, we go to the Lamar situation, where it's more contentious and it's more back and forth and it's more drawn out than it should be. And that causes you to feel differently about the organization, about the front office, just about the process in general. But when you know, like, Jalen Hurts wasn't stressing a deal from the Eagles. He knew it was coming.
Right.
Like, it's when you have that reassurance because you know the organization is behind you and you know they got you, and it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It takes that pressure off to where you can say, oh, he doesn't care about money because he knows he's going to get paid.
Right.
Like, let's be honest. Like, he doesn't care because he knows it's coming. And I think that makes it different. But I agree with D-Jack. I think that they're going to go ahead and structure it to make sure that they can go ahead and still get and pay the guys they need to help Burrow win. But he's about to get paid. And he's going to get paid nicely.
We will see. We will see. Now, D-Jack, I mean, of course, we'd love to keep you on, but I know, you know, you got to head out here soon. But yeah, no, it was a pleasure having you on.
He's a dad now. He a full-time dad now.
I know you got stuff to do. I know you got things to do, man. Things to attend to.
I ain't gonna lie. They give me a run for my money, but I love it, man. Hey, it just makes me appreciate these women a little more, man. It's full-time mothers, man. It's a tough job, man, for sure.
No, salute. Yep, salute. Well, yeah, no, man. Appreciate you having on, though, D-Jack, for sure, man.
See y'all tomorrow, man. Salute.
Bye.
All right, boss. Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.
All right, take care. All right.
All right, Ashley. How about we do some Fact or Foolish?
Fact or Foolish?
Is that cool?
All right.
We jump into Fact or Foolish right quick. So it's just me and Ashley. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read Ashley a statement, right?
I feel like I'm in the hot seat.
I know, right?
I feel like I need the lights, like, dimmed down when they used to do Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Mandeville, can I get some lighting in here? What we can do?
Yeah, I might give you some, like, bonus Fact or Foolish, something that we ain't really discussing in production.
Here we go.
So, all right, well, this is the first one, right? Fact or Foolish. Detroit Lions upset the Kansas City Chiefs in the NFL season opener.
No, foolish.
I say foolish.
No shade to the Detroit Lions. Listen, I think they're going to go ahead and be a lot better than they were last season. They ended on a very optimistic. They had an optimistic stretch in that second half of the season. I think they're going to go ahead and be a not fantastic. They're going to be a good team, a solid team. The future is bright in Detroit, but we're talking about the reigning Super Bowl champions. We're talking about Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. Let's be honest, not going to happen.
Yeah. All right, so we're going foolish there. I mean, if I had to give, my either fact or foolish, I'd probably say foolish too. I think they're going to keep it closer than what people are thinking, though. I think this Lions team. See that. Yeah, I think this Lions team is. I don't think they greatly improved themselves like through the draft or anything like that. But I think they're going into next season with some, with some momentum off of last season. So we'll see. I think this team is like 1 year. They have 1 year of experience on their belt playing together. Not too many people were moved around and whatnot. So we'll see. But I think I'll go foolish.
Do you believe in the Super Bowl slump? Are you a believer? In that age-old
not with a guy like Patrick Mahomes, because that's not, you wouldn't feel that way with Brady, if he was leading the team, right? So I think the great ones.
I mean, the Bucs kind of look like they had a Super Bowl slump a little bit after they won the Super Bowl that next season.
But Brady, but we know Brady was on his way out though, right? But
that's true.
To support, I guess my point is, Patrick Mahomes, he got another one, right? So, and that was a couple years removed from his first Super Bowl. So, no, we'll see. I think he is a great one, though. So, I think he'll be consistent. I think him and his Chiefs will still remain consistent.
I'm curious what the chat says. I want to know in the chat right now who believes in the urban legend of the Super Bowl slump. Give me a thumbs up if you're a believer. Give me a thumbs down if you're like it's a bunch of bull. No such thing as a Super Bowl slump. Winners win and losers lose. I'm curious to see how many people believe in that.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. Let us know, guys. Let us know. All right, next one. Now, though the Minnesota Vikings said that they were going to consider bringing back Dalvin Cook if he took a pay cut, what they just did recently, we were talking about this yesterday, right? Like, do players, when they remove a team out of, their bios on social medias, does that move the needle for teams during contract negotiations? Well, we just saw this happen on kind of like the flip side, right? The Minnesota Vikings removed Dalvin Cook from the header on their Twitter page, which I thought was pretty interesting. They replaced him with running back, Alexander Madison. That was number 2. He looked just like Dalvin Cook on the field too, which is weird. But fact or foolish, Dalvin Cook takes a pay cut and remains with the Vikings.
I'm going to say fact only because I don't know what the market would. I don't know the market would give him better than what the Vikings would give him even with a pay cut. A lot of teams already have their starting running backs, so I don't know if he would go into a situation and even be a starter at this point. Why would he do that when he can be a starter for less money with the Vikings? I say fact.
What do you think they offer him? Because I think right now he's expected to make like $11 million going into next season.
I would say maybe they offer him 9.5, 10. Maybe not a drastic pay cut, just enough.
Just
to give
a little
him,
something
just
to give him a little
something
wiggle
to trim
room.
the fat. Yeah. A little something.
I tell you what, I hope the Dolphins jump in. Dolphins, bring Dalvin Cook home. We want him in Miami. Dalvin Cook, that'd be nice, right? All right, well,
let's see what the chat's saying about the curse. Let's see. Brandon Marshall believes in the Super Bowl slump.
Does he?
Does he? We have yup. Someone says I believe in the Madden curse.
The Madden curse?
That's been broken though.
Patrick
Mahomes broke that, didn't he? I think Patrick Mahomes broke the Madden curse.
And who was on this most recent Madden? It wasn't even. I don't even think it was Patrick Mahomes, but I guess that's just
but Patrick Mahomes was the one who broke it.
Right,
I think
that's what I
he
thought.
was the one who broke it.
Yeah.
We got thumbs up. One person said BS. Someone said scripted, so I believe. Thumbs down. Someone said winners win. Someone Ghost St. Patrick said no such thing. Someone said nah. Look at Brady, like you said.
Yeah.
Winners win. Let's see. Thumbs down. Man. Thumbs down. Thumbs up.
Because that's not what he's worried about week to week. Patrick Mahomes, he's not worried about. Man, I'm just coming off a Super Bowl. They locked in. They taking it one game at a time. You hear that cliche all the time, but I think Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and that that leadership that they developed over the years, like, we're taking it one a game at a time, and there's gonna be new guys on the team and whatnot. So, I think they'll be able to.
And going quickly before we move on to the next one, going back to the Dalvin Cook situation. Look, we talk about this all the time. We spoke about it when we had the conversation about Zeke. It's not a running backs league anymore.
It isn't.
So teams aren't going to be spending money an exuberant amount of money on running backs. You know, unfortunately, the position is kind of expendable to them. So I don't know if the market would even be something, like I said, going back, I don't even know if the market would be something that would be forgiving to Dalvin Cook, because the position is just not on the list of importance to a lot of these teams. So if I were his agent, I would say, let's go ahead and see what we can get from this team, because it's not a running backs market.
Right, because he could potentially put himself in a bad situation if he walks away from the Vikings.
He could be making less money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So,
No, that's a good point. That's a good point you make there. So,
what happened, Woo? What we got?
I was going to say, on average, it looks like the running back, fullback, and punters are the lowest paid in the NFL.
Yep.
Positionally.
Yep. Running backs, running backs and kickers, man. It's unfortunate, and it's like, and how important is a running back to your team,
not even kickers,
too,
punters,
and to the offense?
because some kickers be making a nice little check.
Yeah. We talked about this a few weeks ago, but it's just like the running back nowadays, they're literally a receiver and a running back almost. They almost have dual purpose.
That's the hybrid. But the old school guys are just strictly running backs. They got no hands.
Yeah, but when is pay gonna? I mean, and of course nothing changes about how running backs get beat up and whatnot on a week-to-week basis. But like, if you got a guy, maybe then and we're seeing that in games now. There's a steady rotation of running backs. So I mean, are they really getting hurt? Maybe at the same clip as they was 5 to 10 years ago. Again, they're starting to catch the ball more out of the backfield. They're not, downhill runners as much. It's like, if you ask me, the lifespan of running backs is probably going to get better.
That's
the way that the game is changing.
Though. They're hybrid.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the way that the game is changing.
Would you say that Dalvin Cook, though, is that type of a running back?
Yeah, no, he'll catch about 4 passes in the game. And I know that as a bettor, and all the other bettors know that too. Dalvin Cook over on catches. That was a play for sure. But yeah, no, we'll see what happens with Dalvin Cook. Best of luck to him, of course, being a fellow South Floridian. But yeah, how about we shift our focus to basketball a little bit, right? We got the Eastern Conference Finals tonight.
Dalvin Cook does have good hands, though.
He does.
I'm trying to think about it. So you know who else has good hands? McCaffrey has good hands.
McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, Kamara.
You know the guy I was going out to bet for.
Tony Pollard has good hands.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones has good hands.
Who's the guy? No, from the Chargers. Who's the guy from the Chargers?
Eckler.
Austin Eckler. He's one of the better ones in the league.
Eckler's a hybrid.
Yeah,
Eckler has good hands.
Yeah, he's like I said, he's combined for like 1,500 yards for like the last 2-3 seasons or something like that. Austin Eckler's, he's been doing it.
That's the future.
No, it is. All right, basketball. Right, yesterday, like we had mentioned, I think earlier, I think we might have been in a production meeting. You did good yesterday. We're predicting Anthony Davis.
I was under on his points.
No, but see, I thought because what were your point totals? Was 23? It's 23 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists.
Yeah, but I said he would score over 38 with all of them combined, which he did. But my stat line was off.
But your stat line don't have to be accurate, just as long as he goes over.
Then I still won.
You still won.
I think I got his assists right though. How many assists did he have?
I do think he ended up with 3 assists.
Did he end up with 13?
I think he had like 10 rebounds.
I'm sorry. How many rebounds did he have?
Let me see.
Anthony Davis had
40, 10, and 3.
Damn, and I was off by. I had his assists. I had assists right.
You had assists right.
I was short rebounds by 3, and I was definitely off by points.
Yeah,
but I still want to hit. I hit the total.
You hit the over though. Yeah, so that's that.
If
you're over, you're good. Yeah. If you're over, you're good. 40, 10, and 3. That boy went off. But all right, tonight, Boston, right? Miami Heat. Their matchup sportsbooks right now have the spread at 8.5 points. So that means that the Celtics have to beat the Heat by 9 points in order to cover the spread. So fact or foolish, the Boston Celtics beat the Heat by 9 points in Game 1. Do the Celtics cover the spread?
9.
Giving you some betting 101. That's how you cover the spread. You got to win by that many points.
Let me think. Boston's coming off of a Game 7. They're rocking and rolling right now. Miami's been home for a little bit longer. They might be a little rusty coming out the gate. 9 points. I'll take that.
Yeah? Then Celtics going to beat them by 9?
Actually, I'm thinking more 6, 7.
I mean, let me not influence your decision.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Your decision is your decision.
Actually, I'm taking that slightly under. I think they win between. I think they win by like 6.
By
maybe?
6.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna take that under.
So you got to take the Heat. Take the Heat spread then. You're gonna take the Heat spread.
I take the Heat spread. I think 9's a lot.
That is a lot. That's what
a lot of
you gonna disrespect my Heat like that?
That's
What's
a lot
up?
of points.
That's
I think they lose tonight, the Heat, but I don't think they lose by that much.
We shall see. Who? Hey, who? You think they're gonna do it? Oh no, but you what are you, a Nets fan?
I'm a Nets fan.
Yeah, you're a Nets fan. So he not even for the home team. Shame on him.
I'm sorry. Let's rewind for a second, please.
Right.
You're a Nets and Giants fan?
Yes.
How the hell does that happen?
Do you have the time?
My thing is like, were you a New Jersey Nets fan?
No.
So you're okay.
Bandwagon.
Here we go.
I can explain.
Y'all go ahead and strap yourselves in because I'm about to get messy. Word to Brandon Marshall.
Yeah.
So you weren't even a New Jersey Nets fan. So of the basketball teams in New York, you actively chose the Brooklyn Nets when the Knicks were right there.
Yeah.
This is why I have absolutely zero respect for Giants fans. This is why I clown you guys on the regular schmegular because of things like this. Explain yourself, but I just want everyone to know this is why I call you the New Jersey Giants. This is why I remind everybody that you do not play in New York. ESPN, NFL Network, Fox, NFL, stop showing the New York skyline when the Giants play football. They don't play there. Show their little outlet malls. Stop showing the Empire State Building. They play in New Jersey. This is why I clown them. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, man.
All right. So I originally was a Miami fan.
Okay.
Dolphins and Heat. I got tired of losing.
Oh, he's one of
fair
those
weather.
guys.
We call him fair weather fans.
So I went from Miami. Then I found that I became a player follower. So I followed Deron Williams to Utah.
Oh, my goodness.
I was a Utah
A
Jazz.
Utah Jazz fan.
And then when he went to Brooklyn, that's when I became a Brooklyn fan and he retired. So that's how I became a Brooklyn Nets. And I always loved New York.
I was going to say, do we have an explanation
Ashley.
for the Giants? The Giants fan, being a Giants fan.
I was a
Ashley.
Dolphins fan.
Yeah.
And then I think it was
The Cowboys playing Arlington, not in Dallas.
2001. I just watched the game and I was just like, I really like the way Strahan played,
Yeah.
Eli, all of them, and I don't even know.
Was it
if
when they
Eli
won the
was there
Super
yet,
Bowl?
but-
Is that when you kind of jumped on the bandwagon when Eli beat?
Yeah, I jumped
Tom
on the
Brady?
bandwagon.
Wow, listen, we may owe
20 years strong,
we may
actually.
owe Brandon Marshall an apology
Oh my
because
God, I know, right? 'Cause
we might have found somebody worse than
I know
him.
loyal fans might be in the minority here.
This man went
On
from
this-
the
in the
Miami
studio.
Dolphins to the Miami Heat,
Right.
jumped ship to the Utah Jazz, now landed in Brooklyn and in New Jersey with the Giants. That is absolutely an asinine fan map.
See, that's unfortunate.
So
See,
wait, who are you a fan of on the Brooklyn Nets now that requires you to stay there? Since
Right.
because you don't really have team loyalty, you have player loyalty.
Well, I went back to team loyalty.
Oh, so
That's
now
what
you
I
went
mean.
back
Yeah.
to team loyalty.
Now I went back. Once DeRon retired, I went back to team loyalty. So now I'm just a Brooklyn Nets. I got lucky when
So you
three-headed monster
still
came.
riding that train?
I'm still riding it out. I'm gonna stay faithful.
Okay.
And then eventually
You gonna leave them
I'm
too?
saying,
Oh, okay.
So we don't want you over here in Heat Nation. We don't want you in Heat
Yeah,
Nation.
you can't. You know you can't spin the block, right?
What I
See,
always
this-
tell you, Corey, I got two teams: Brooklyn Nets and any team facing the Heat.
Any team facing
You know
the
you
Heat.
can't. You know you can't spin the block on the Heat now, right?
No,
And you
I'm
can never
good.
go back to the Dolphins.
No,
like
and this is
now
my
that you
thing.
let this information be known, like you definitely can't spin the block.
This is
yeah,
my
I'm
thing.
good.
And this is why it's so
50-year
great.
drought right now, right? we still in a 50-year drought, right?
We are. But this is so great about being a Dolphins fan because I can't wait to see all the bandwagoners too when the Dolphins just blow it out of the water next season. Because we were that team for years, right? Like for years we were just getting let down. I mean, you see a guy like he jumped ship, right? He jumped ship. He got tired of all of the losing. But wait until the Dolphins start winning again. Like they're gonna be a team that everybody's gonna want to root for, and we're gonna see so many bandwagons, and I can't wait to see it. But
heard
this
this
is
from
what I've
my
been
birth.
waiting for. I've been waiting to be proud to be a Dolphins fan. I can't wait. I can't
Well,
wait.
wait
We got
some
the
more.
team this year.
I know you're not talking. Your
You said wait
quarterback
some
is
more.
Danny
No,
Dimes.
yeah, right. We got
Hey,
we
but
got
I
the
won
team.
a Super Bowl in this century. What are you guys saying?
But you did. Okay, hold on. You didn't even.
done.
You can't
I'm
even.
done.
You can't even claim that Super Bowl because before the Super Bowl happened, you were riding with the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, in the last century.
Oh my God! You
last
can't.
century.
You don't even have the rights to claim that
Shameful.
Super Bowl. That's shameful. This man's jumping
Shameful.
coast to coast to pick which team's winning.
Coast to coast, traveling
Jesus.
thousands of miles.
Insane.
Sheesh.
By the way, I'm just being called relentlessly a flip
You are a flip
Yeah,
flopper,
the
and
Chaz, they
you're
probably
the,
killing you.
you're the
Chaz.
worst
For
kind of
20
flip flopper.
years.
You're jumping from conference to conference, division to division. Like your frequent flyer miles are crazy right now. Like that's insane.
Right. Oh my goodness.
Listen. I can't relate to that because I have been a New York Knicks, New York Yankees, and Dallas Cowboy fan since 1993. Okay, you can't name a more loyal fan than me, baby. We don't flip flop in our house. If we gonna lose, we gonna lose together as a family. Okay, that's all right. You listen, but you know what? When the day comes, when I get a parade with my Dallas Cowboys, and when I get a parade with my New York Knicks, right? It's gonna feel so great because I've seen the trials, I've seen the tribulations, I've seen the peaks, and I've seen the valleys. I've been through it all. I've been through it all.
But I feel like you guys have only seen valleys.
No, peaks coming soon. Definitely.
Peaks coming soon. Peaks coming soon.
All right, so we got a couple more Fact or Foolish, Ashley. Right now, Jimmy Butler. His line, 27.5 tonight, right? So Fact or Foolish, Jimmy Butler scores more than 27 points against the Celtics tonight.
More than 27?
More than 27.
I say yes because he's going to need to give him a chance, so I'll take that.
Yeah, it's going to have to be all Jimmy Butler tonight. So we'll see. We got another one for you. Jaylen Brown scores more points than Jason Tatum tonight. Fact or Foolish? Who's going to be the starter show up tonight? Is it going to be a Jaylen Brown night or is it going to be a Tatum night?
Tatum would probably... Who normally guards Jaylen when you guys play them? Jimmy? Or Jimmy's on Jason?
Jimmy's
usually on Tatum, right?
Jimmy's normally on Tatum. It's more like a Max Strus if he's in the starting lineup.
I go Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown. You think he'll go off?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown will probably get a lot of different looks though. He'll probably have Max Strus at some point. He'll probably have even like a Kevin Love, maybe even having to switch on. You know how the NBA is though. They're gonna try and find their matchups. They're gonna try and force their matchups. So we'll see with that. All right. Jason Tatum.
We have some breaking news, though. 1 second, stand by. According to sources, Chris Haynes just tweeted out 27 minutes ago, James Harden is to decline player option to seek 4-year deal. Ty Lue's reps met with Clippers to discuss his future. A few breaking news stories. Yeah. James Harden is set to decline his player option to seek a 4-year deal. Ty Lue's reps have reportedly met with the Clippers to discuss his future. And the Suns are most likely to guarantee Chris Paul's contract. And Portland is expected to make the number 3 pick that they got in last night's lottery available. So a lot of news to break down there. What do you guys make of that?
Right. Well, the one that stood out was the Chris Paul. You said they're going to guarantee him a contract?
It says that the Suns are likely to guarantee Chris Paul's contract.
Interesting. So that means that there's a future with him, or are they saying just the monies that's in his current contract will be guaranteed?
I'm just
the messenger, huh?
Listen, let me go ahead and I don't understand the logic, but I'll read deeper. Go ahead. Let's go ahead and dive this in. Let's see. They're likely to bring Chris Paul back and to guarantee the full salary for the 2023-2024 season. He's only guaranteed $15.8 million of his $30.8 million wage if he were to be waived by the June 28th deadline, which is not expected to be done by Phoenix. So he'll receive all $30.8 million.
Wow.
Allegedly.
Right. Well, congratulations, Chris Paul.
I mean, I don't get it. I think Chris Paul is the point god. But at this point, I mean, how much more do you have to see that like it may be time to start prepping for the future? Time
to start prepping for Taiwan.
Chris Paul's not going to Taiwan. Have some respect. It's a.
I know Dwight Howard called him over yesterday. He's like, "Come on."
Yeah, I don't really know like what they're expecting of him at this point. I'm not. Obviously, injuries happen, and injuries are unfortunate, and you don't cause them, and you don't want them. But Chris Paul seems to always get them at the worst possible time. Some may argue that the series would have been more competitive if he was there. I don't know what they see in their future with him that we don't see, or I don't see. So I would love to know what that logic is.
Same. Because I mean,
I think his leadership, but I just think his
you pay $30.8 million for leadership. Brandon Marshall.
Yeah, they need to move on. They need some youth at the point guard position. I think that's the direction they need to go. I mean, it seems like it's already written with Chris Paul, so I guess we're just going to have to see. I mean, you know, the Suns, of course, they played well in that stretch, right, that they added KD and whatnot. So, you know, and Stack spoke about it earlier this week. You know, he'd at least give them one more year, you know, to try it out and see how it works. So maybe that's just where management's head is. They'll bring in a new coach, right? They just got rid of Monty Williams. They'll see maybe what a new coach can bring to what they'll have on the court.
Well, Ty Lue is a name that's being thrown around, but on the topic of what do they expect from him, James Harden intends to decline his $35.6 million player option to become an unrestricted free agent this summer in order to secure a long-term deal. Now, if you guys remember, prior to the start of this season, he left money on the table to go ahead and help the team restructure and possibly win a championship.
Right.
That didn't happen.
Yeah.
Now he's looking for a long-term deal, which, I mean,
You think
the
NBA
the NBA, the fans, and the people who hand out the money have very short-term memories, James. Right. And I don't know if that memory is in favor of the long-term deal that you are looking for.
Right.
Unless it's Houston.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was going to be my question. Like, do you think it happens in Philadelphia, or do you think?
I personally don't see Philly paying a long-term deal for him.
What we talking about?
When he did not show up consistently in that series.
Yeah.
Like I don't see why they would reward him for that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
For not
like
being available.
I'm not quite sure where I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
He's probably he'll go back to Houston and get it. I think he'll go back.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, that'd be cool to see him, you know, return to Houston, right? And then maybe, I don't know, maybe we get Houston James Harden back, because that might be what he'll have to, you know, the role he had to play. He'll have to be more aggressive, you know, on the scoring end.
We have another breaking announcement.
Another one?
Apparently, Brandon Marshall has decided to grace us with his presence. Wow.
Uh-oh. Oh, we got
and
B.
he's
Marsh.
wearing a hoodie and a turtleneck,
Yeah.
folks,
His
in
look,
90-degree
his signature look.
Miami weather. It is 90 degrees in the 305 today, and Brandon looks like he just got off the slopes.
Right.
I keep telling you that, Ashley, when I travel, I travel with the turtleneck. Who wants to be cold on the airplane? That's
Where
the worst
are
feeling in
you?
the world. I'm in Tampa, and why you keep saying I'm on that island or something?
I don't know.
I'm in Tampa. I'm literally 3.5 hours away.
Got it.
Hey, good show. You guys are doing great, but I hear a lot of shots. I'm excited.
I thought we can't
respond
use
to
that
some-
word on this show anymore.
Oh yeah, was it too soon when D-Jack did that?
that was a funny comment. I was like, that might have been slightly too soon. We literally just came from that conversation.
No, it ain't that serious. Hey, Ashley, I wanted to get your thoughts on this, right? Did you see that JJ Redick came out, I think it was this morning, maybe it was last night, and said that we're trying to crucify a kid that didn't break – he's 23 and he didn't break the law.
Mm-hmm.
What was your thoughts on JJ Redick's response? If you saw it. If
I
you
did.
Didn't,
I saw it. So he was responding to Mad Dog saying that he would like to see a suspension of 40-plus games, I believe was what he said, or 40 games. And that was JJ's response to that. I think, though, that, and nobody should know this better than JJ, he's a former player, and also now he works for the worldwide leader in sports. It's not about whether or not he broke the law. Paul Pierce didn't break the law when he went on IG Live with strippers and cigars. Like, you represent a brand that is bigger than yourself. When you work for a company or when you play for a company, and the NBA is a company, it's a brand, it's an entity, you can't just go ahead and do whatever you want, because you're not just a representation of yourself, of your team, you're a representation of what that brand represents. So the NBA does not want to be known. Mind you, basketball is a international game. Football is trying to get there, but basketball's been there. It's played all over the world, from Asia to Europe to South America.
We'll never get there.
Well, they're trying. They're trying their best. And you can't have that being the perception of what the NBA is. Oh, the NBA, they have a great product, and also they let their players wield guns on IG Live. It's bigger than him. So I get what he's saying. I agree with him. Did not break the law. Should not be treated like he broke the law. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about direct repercussions of what due to the brand he represents.
Yep.
What do you think? What do you think is going to be the punishment?
I think he'll be suspended probably for the first quarter of the season without pay. So I would say anywhere 20 to 25 games. And I say that because think about it this way. The first time they did it, they gave him 8, which some people will say was light. They gave him 8 games, and it was kind of like a don't do that again, superstar. Don't do that.
Right.
If he was on the bench, he probably would have got more games. And he was suspended 8 games, I believe, with pay. Fact check me on that, but I think he still got paid. But whether or not he got paid or not, it was still a light sentence. Now it's like I gave you that gift, essentially. I didn't punish you the way I probably should have, and you do it again. Now you're forcing my hand, and now I have to prove a point. So I think it's going to be more about principle than them being upset about the actual action. It's about you can't make a fool out of the NBA. You're not going to do that. So now I have to teach you a lesson. It was like
So we know his 8-game suspension.
Was the 8-game suspension was without pay. Okay, got it. Just wanted to double check that.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry to interrupt y'all show, y'all broadcast, live broadcast on where you're on YouTube. It's called a stream. Sorry to interrupt y'all live stream. But I want to go back and can we talk a little bit about the Lakers before I go?
Yeah. No,
sure.
Of course.
So Ashley, what did you think? I wasn't able to watch the top of the show. So if you can quickly give me an overview of what you thought the game came down to, and then I'll respond to that.
I just think it came down to the Denver Nuggets being able to push the pace in favor of them, especially down the stretch. I think the Lakers weren't able to play at the speed that they normally do, and I think that it kind of worked against them. Also, LeBron was struggling a little bit. He didn't go ahead, I would say, and put up the stat line that maybe people expected. And also, listen, you only had one person come off the bench, double digits. They had a short rotation, and on the other side of that game with the Denver Nuggets, you had a lot more continuity basketball. So I think a few things kind of worked in the favor of the Denver Nuggets. It's going to be an interesting series, but like I said, I still have Nuggets winning in 6. So,
Ashley, you tripping?
Okay.
To watch that game and come away with that thought, you absolutely tripping. That whole name, Astrodamus, we need to take that name away.
Well, you also thought the Suns were going to beat the Nuggets, so.
CP3 went down. I was believing in CP3 soft tissue issues going away magically.
Right.
I was hoping that CP3 was going to be healthy for once in a lifetime.
Right.
No, but Ashley, seriously, you saw me tweeting last night, and I think I picked up right where D-Jack was, or tuned in right where D-Jack was, and he talked about the Lakers or the Nuggets giving the Lakers their best shot. I don't know if you can play better than that, Ashley.
You don't know who can play better than that.
I text Chandler Parsons last night. I was like, "Yo, bro, what is happening right now?" And Chandler Parsons texted me back. He said, "Bro, I got to be honest. I have never seen anything like this. This may be the best 3 quarters of basketball I have ever seen." And I don't think he's far off. Can you name any game, any 3 quarters jump out to you right now that was better than Joker? So you had Joker, who was phenomenal. Murray was phenomenal. KCP is his name. KCP, I always forget the gentleman's name from the Lakers. Was the Lakers. He was phenomenal. He couldn't miss a shot. And then you had the other gentleman, Porter, who came in and did his thing as well. They're not going to play that good again. They're not going to do that.
He might have a point there. We'll see tomorrow.
Corey, be serious.
Huh? I mean,
you think the Denver Nuggets can't play that well again? Like, let's actually sit
he had
here.
12 rebounds in 7 minutes.
I'm not talking about the speed. I'm talking about the efficiency. For 4 quarters of basketball, you don't think they can play that well again?
I think they can, but somebody like me, I don't like to form too many conclusions after a game 1. I have to see how they make adjustments going into game 2.
Just seeing how they played throughout the regular season and seeing how they
played. But they played well. KCP had 20 points, right? Like I think Michael Porter Jr. had close to 20 points. Murray had 30. It's not often that in the same game that he and Jokic scored 30. So it's normally one is having like an aggressive offensive night, the other one's not. So
you will 100% maybe not get the crazy shots that we were seeing. You may 100% not even get the speed in which those shots were being made again. I agree with that. But to sit here and say that the overall stat lines of these players, Jokic specifically, we won't see that again in this series is crazy.
No.
He just had an exceptional game, though. 21 rebounds, 30 plus.
Come on, Ashley.
It may change form. Less rebounds, more points. But to say they will that was the best they will ever play in this series is kind of nuts.
That says so much. That game was more about the Lakers than it was the Nuggets. For them to still be in that game and have a chance down the stretch says so much about the Lakers. Ashley, I can't believe Joker started so hot. You're talking about a guy.
How can you not believe that?
That was Ashley, you're just saying, you're looking at that as MVP Joker. I think he went above MVP last night.
I'm somebody who, I don't know about y'all. I'm somebody though who has watched the Denver Nuggets play for the majority of the season. Yeah. That's not how he played is not that surprising. Like, I know maybe it's surprising against the Lakers and maybe it's surprising to people who don't watch the Nuggets play. What you saw last night was a version of how they normally play.
It's not too far from the norm.
It's not too far off from their norm.
It's not too far from the norm, but it still is the Western Conference Finals, right? Like, you still expecting them to put that on.
Maybe the scenario's impressive, but that's Denver basketball. Yeah. That's how they play.
So you're telling me that Joker started that he started like that before the season. He had 3 quarters of basketball like that this season where he came out, he throwing up shots. You have
that's what I said. Did you see how he ended the third quarter?
Looking at him like, bro, come on. As a competitor, that's the worst thing you can do as a competitor. But he was that good where AD looked at him and said, "There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do." He got his hand in his face. He damn near fouled him, and he still made it.
You guys are talking about Jokic, who was in the running to win the MVP for a 3rd year in a row. The man averaged a triple-double this year. Yeah. He has been doing this. It's not a surprise to people who have actually been watching him play. It's impressive because he's able to do it consistently. It's impressive because it's the Western Conference Finals. It's impressive because it's AD and LeBron James. But it is not surprising. The man is like that. Like, everybody needs to wake up.
He is like that, but if I'm the Lakers, I'm sitting back looking at this and saying, look, they're not going to start that hot. We're not going to start that slow. They should have blew us out. That should have been a 30-piece on them. And they was damn near in it. LeBron dribbling on. I don't know what the hell LeBron was doing. Come on, Bron. Yeah. What was Bron doing?
I didn't really like how he walked back in transition. Did you see that?
Yeah, and then he gave up.
I didn't really like that because it was when I looked at the score, I'm like, oh, it must be like an 8-point game. I looked at the score, I'm like, it's still a 5-point game with like about 10 seconds left. I feel like I've seen crazier things happen.
14 seconds. It was like, it might have been down. He just stopped.
Yeah, I was like, that was odd to see from LeBron. I must say that was weird. Yeah.
Listen, if you guys are listening on Sirius XM Faction Talk 103, myself, Brandon Marshall, Corey in the Cut, a.k.a. Corey Holmes. We got Woo in the West. We got BC in the back. What's Mandeville's nickname?
We give him a nickname?
Mandeville.
Mander Legend, right?
Mander Legend.
Yeah.
I appreciate.
You'll never see his face.
I know, right? Yeah, unfortunately, guys, you'll never see his face.
Yeah, he's like the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, right. Hey, but Brandon, I don't know if you're gonna stay on. I wanted to get y'all's opinion on something else too. Right, so I don't know if you guys were watching the game last night, but there was 2 broadcasts, right? There was like the traditional ESPN broadcast, and then on a separate broadcast, which is kind of similar to the concept of like Monday Night Football with Peyton Manning and Eli, they had Stephen A. So Stephen A. was covering the game, and he had a variety of guests that came on and joined him. One of his guests was Draymond Green, right? And in their conversation, Draymond Green said that he believes that his incident with Jordan Poole was the reason why the Warriors are out of the playoffs. We have that clip right now. Let's take a look at it.
We're not playing right now because when you speak about the fouling, when you speak about all of the slippage that we had as a team on the road, not being able to come together, none of those things happen if that doesn't happen, because the voice that I am and the departments that I lead this team in, there was a ton of slippage due to me sitting back, me not saying anything, me trying to allow that situation to play itself out and giving.
Ashley, what are your thoughts on this? Brandon, we'll have you chime in as well. But Ashley, what are your initial reactions?
If I was Jordan Poole, I would be pissed off all over again. Because it's like you are acknowledging the very thing that you denied. And that is that situation took a toll on this team. Mm-hmm. Because I can vividly remember, I don't remember the publication, the quote, maybe it was like a source situation. One of the NBA reporters said that that situation was no longer lingering over this team, that Draymond apologized to Jordan multiple times, to the team multiple times, and they were moving past it. You were acknowledging what everybody assumed, and that is that there was no way to get past it. And there was no way to get past something that could have been avoided. You didn't have to put your hands on that man. Yeah. That was a choice that you made. Mm-hmm. And that choice had repercussions, and the repercussions were that it was detrimental to the overall goal of the team, and that was to win a championship, the dynasty to win another one. So, like, you're up here saying, yeah, by February I was feeling like myself and da-da-da-da, and, like, that's great. But it didn't have to be like this, Draymond. It didn't even have to get to this point. Like, y'all could have still been in the playoffs handling business. Like, if your actions weren't the action, if you didn't choose the action that you chose. And it's annoying, like, in hindsight to hear it. I appreciate the honesty, and what he's saying is factual. But it's also like, okay, Captain Obvious, we kind of knew this. Like, this is what we've been saying. Yeah. So,
right.
I guess, like.
Yeah. Brandon, your thoughts?
Well, listen, we talked about this yesterday on the show. And, my thoughts after seeing this would be, this is exactly what we all realize, right? And we all expected. I mean, me as a player, I've never physically gotten in a fight with a teammate. College, I did. I told y'all about Omar. Remember Omar? He hit me in my mouth, and I waited 3 months. I told y'all a little story.
Yeah.
But in the league, I never got into it with a teammate as far as like physically in the locker room. Now on the field, plenty of DBs, one-on-one competition where we went back and forth, and we probably had to be separated. That happens all the time. You see that in spring ball. But when that trickles into the locker room, in the cafeteria, in the meeting room, that's when the problem really becomes like, where it's unmanageable. You can't even manage it. Mm-hmm. Draymond Green, he knew this going in, man. And this is what I was saying yesterday. If you put your hands on the player that way and it gets out, it's hard for you to it's damn near impossible for you to recover from that. So, Ashley, we talked about it. This is exactly why, this team didn't probably reach their full potential this year. In some people's eyes, I feel like, they probably stole that last championship. I don't know if they're living in La La Land. Why you keep...
They didn't steal that. I don't understand why you keep saying that.
Listen, I mean, come on, think about it. The Suns was playing well. Monty had that team firing on all cylinders. CP3 goes down again, right? You had the Bucks. Even the Nets, man. Nobody picked besides you. Pick the damn Warriors.
My dad did, if that counts for anything.
Oh, you keep saying I forgot your dad. You and your dad. Mm-hmm. But I never put my hands on a teammate before. But I will say this, Darrelle Revis and I got into it in the locker room. I threw my towel in his face. Oh. And even that, like, disrupted our chemistry and continuity.
Was it a used towel?
Months.
Yeah, it's an important fact.
It was a used towel? That's nasty, Brandon.
Ew. You towel at him to distract him and then rush him? What happened?
And I also got into it. I also got into a huge argument with Ryan Fitzpatrick, who you guys know I love dearly. He's a dear friend to me, of mine. We got into a huge argument my second year with the Jets on the field. And that disrupted what we were doing for about a month. So think about a guy actually being damn near knocked out. Like, if you go back and watch that video, Poole, he had to come back. He was knocked out. He slept him, right?
His legs
so
did
now
buckle.
That's playing out publicly. Come on, their relationship would never be the same. I don't give a damn when they 60 and they go back to they do a reunion and they celebrating that championship they stole. They probably still won't shake hands then. Stop, Ashley. Stop. You know y'all stole it.
But I will say this, though. I'm not letting Draymond off the hook because his actions, his choices made this possible. And hurt the dynasty and hurt their overall goal. But Jordan Poole's also not off the hook, because while I understand what that does to your ego, because it's not even like it happened just within the confinement of the team. The whole world saw it. Mm. And I understand that that's embarrassing, and I understand that that probably just adds to more of the hit that your ego took, because now it's not just something the teammates know. Everyone saw it and everyone has an opinion on it. I understand that, not negating that. I'm also not saying that he probably should have gotten over it in terms of his personal relationship with Draymond. I'd probably hold a grudge for a very long time, maybe forever. Like, one thing about me, to Capricorns, we can hold a grudge for a very long time. Okay.
What is Jordan Poole?
I don't know what he is, but I know me.
Can we get his zodiac?
I know your girl here. Once I'm indifferent, I can pretend like you don't exist. So, I understand. What's his zodiac sign? Woo? Gemini. He's a Gemini. My daddy's a Gemini. They're
I'm also a Gemini.
Crazy. But I will say though that I think that Jordan should have tried his best, and I don't know if he did. Only he knows if he did, to still put that personal feeling and his personal relationship with Draymond to the side, to the best of his ability, for the betterment of this team. Because the team didn't punch him in the face. One person did. So Steph shouldn't go ahead and have to deal with the byproduct of that situation between you and Draymond. Clay shouldn't have to deal with it. Wiggins shouldn't have to.
Yeah, but that's not
their fault. So I think that there comes a point where you have to sometimes say, yo, me and him, we're never going to be good. And me and him, if I see him in the off season, it's on. Me and him, we're never going to be homies. We're never going to go out together.
But that's not how it shows up though, Ashley.
Sometimes you have to bypass that, Brandon, to win.
I hear you. Let me ask you this question. So if you're in the locker room, right? And let's go back before the punch. All right. You're in the locker room, everybody's playing ping pong, right? Some dudes may have, they might play video games, but let's stick with ping pong. So you're in the locker room, guys are playing ping pong. So that year before the punch, you had Draymond's team versus Jordan Poole's team, right? Or you just had doubles, right? And everybody was just all together. Now fast forward to after the punch. That changes. Let's talk about dinner. Let me give you another scenario. We all land. Let's say New York. Let's pick a city. Let's go to Miami. We live in Miami. We all land in Miami. Hey guys, let's go to ZZ's. Have you been to ZZ's, Ashley?
Of course I've been to ZZ's.
Yeah, I know you've been to ZZ's. Everybody go to ZZ's, right? Do you think Draymond comes? Do you think Jordan Poole comes if they both know that each other's coming?
But
that's what
Brandon,
happens.
you have teammates that you don't like.
No, not at that level, Ashley. That's a different level. You're 100% right. You don't have to always get along with every coworker, but the dynamic changes before the punch and after the punch when it comes to what you guys do off the court. In the locker room, there's ping pong. In the locker room, there might be video games. Even in the cafeteria, everybody's sitting around the table. They might be doing a cipher. Everybody freestyling. You travel. We're playing cards together. You travel, you land, you go to ZZ's. Now you got the whole team before the punch is going. Then now post-punch, now it's like, damn, Jordan Poole's going to Swan, or give me another restaurant. He's going to Komodo. And then you got Draymond's group going to ZZ's. And that's what happens to championship teams, right? Is they start to be split. And that's what happened after that punch.
But I think I'm going to push back against that just a little bit, because if we go back to the Last Dance, there were reports and teammates were speaking about it that Jordan got into altercations with his teammates. But his teammates, more than them, like punching, like fights, legit fights. He would curse them out and call them names. These are grown men. He would yell at them, scream at them. Kobe did the same thing, maybe not physical, but he would berate them in practice, telling them they're trash, they're this. People personally may have felt a way about Jordan, and people did, or Kobe. But you know what they did when it came time to go ahead and be on the court and produce wins, which is what the NBA is all about, winning championships? They put whatever personal feelings they had aside to go ahead and do what was better for the team, the overall goal. Because if I'm a champion, if we win a championship, that helps me too. So I hear what you're saying, but it also speaks to I want to say the will of somebody to put certain things aside in the meantime while focusing on a bigger goal. In the off season, go on a rampage. Every podcast you can get on and start cursing them out. But in the time you're playing, sometimes it's bigger than you. And maybe some guys can do that and some guys can't.
Yeah, listen. Can you guys still hear me here?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, let me get my video right. Someone just FaceTime me. Next time I need to put it on airplane mode when I'm out the office. Look, Ashley, I think that was a terrible example, but you know I love you, right?
Why was that a terrible example?
It was because it was only one guy in The Last Dance that Jordan punched. Okay, and then when you talked about Kobe and you talked about Jordan as far as berating their teammates and getting on their teammates and being extra aggressive, you're 100% right there. But we see that in the locker room every single year. There's the Jimmy Butlers of the world that get after their teammates, right? Remember, Jimmy Butler did the same thing. Legendary story. Jimmy Butler walks into the facility, he cusses everybody out and tells them he's not nothing. They're not nothing. And then the next day he's traded, but he was doing that for months. So you see that, and that is I would say that's normal in the locker room to always have that one guy, that feisty guy. You saw PJ Tucker cuss out his teammate. But when you put your hands on a guy, and that's why I said I disagree with you there, and it was a bad example because in The Last Dance, Jordan punched the one teammate, and the teammate that he punched, we don't even know his name. Do you remember his name? I don't know his name.
I do remember his name, but I'm drawing a blank on it right now. If you gave me a second,
contribute.
But that's not he was still a player on the team, Brandon. He still got minutes.
It's a difference between if he punched Scottie Pippen, if he punched Steve Kerr, then that would have been that they would have definitely felt that. I wouldn't say Steve Kerr because they still had other shooters and other people. Kerr definitely contributed in a major way, so let me take that back. But it's a difference when it's a guy that's a 12th man on the bench, 12th man on the team on the roster, then it's a guy that gave you 20-something points the year before.
I just think it's a personality thing. I think some people are able to put personal feelings aside, at least in the interim, to focus on a task at hand. Whether I've had to work with people I couldn't stand, but you focus on the task at hand and the camera's cut and you go back to hating them. But some people are. Some people.
What's wrong with you?
It's true. But some people are unable to do that, and I'm not saying it's right, and I'm not saying it's wrong. Everybody's personality is different, and Michael Jordan punched Steve Kerr, and Steve Kerr was a pivotal part of the Chicago Bulls.
It came back to you.
And it came back to me. I'm sitting here thinking about it. Right. And Steve Kerr didn't allow that to go ahead and say, you know what? I'm going to pout on the court, and I'm not going to listen to Jordan. And I'm not going to pay. You know what he did? He punched me. Yeah, I may hate his guts right now, but we got a championship to win.
Can we talk about the irony in that?
That's the difference. I don't know if it's necessarily the action or the fact that the world found out about it, but I think that there are people who are able to go ahead and put that to the side to focus on the task at hand. And maybe Jordan's not that person, or maybe he is that person, but TMZ getting that video, maybe it changed things for him. Because now it's like everyone will remind him of that punch heard around the world.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you a question, then Corey, you can transition us to the next thing. Ashley, so how do you feel about your coworkers now? We good? We're on the same page? You like me? You like Corey?
Y'all know I wasn't talking about y'all.
I'm just making sure. It
wasn't anybody in this room.
All right, moving on, y'all. So, like I mentioned, the NBA draft lottery was last night. I think we mentioned that at the top of the show.
Wembanyama.
San Antonio Spurs win the number one pick.
5 minutes, guys.
Say that again?
Sorry, Corey. My Uber is going to be here in 5 minutes. I fly to New York tonight, and then I fly to Vegas. I see Devin Haney. I got to place a bet. You got to figure out if I'm going to drop, if it's going to be 10,000, if it's going to be 100,000.
Yeah.
And then I go to San Francisco. Then I'll be back in studio with you guys Monday. So just wanted to give you guys a little heads up that I will be traveling a little bit.
Safe traveling.
All righty, man. Yeah, safe travels to
Everyone say bye to Brandon.
Haney Lomachenko. That's going to be a good one, though.
I want to hear Ashley's thoughts. I'm going to jump off here in 3 minutes. I got 4 minutes here till my Uber's here now. So let me hear what Ashley has to say about this.
On Wembanyama?
Yeah, Wembanyama. Is that the one you referring to?
Yeah, your question. I know where you were going.
Yeah, right. Will Spurs select Victor Wembanyama.
Yes.
First overall.
It is like the perfect script that an international player of this magnitude has fallen in the lap of Greg Popovich. We are talking about the Popovich who has molded Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Manu Ginobili. I mean, this could not be a more perfect environment for him. This is a coach. This is an organization that loves international talent, that has been proven to make international talent into Hall of Famers. I mean, this is insane. I'm so excited for this relationship of Wemby and Popovich. And I love the video, the photo that's circulating of Wemby, a young Wemby wearing Tony Parker's number 9 Spurs jersey. It is like the perfect story. This is going to be so fun to watch.
You know, I wasn't as convinced as I am now after I heard you kind of break that down. Like him falling into the hands of Popovich.
There's not a more perfect coach for him.
No, you're right. That actually might be a good system.
Yeah.
Now, but is he like a legitimate 5 though? Do you think he'll be like their 5 from day one?
It depends on what I don't know what changes they're making in terms of this team. You know, you don't have went to the
Podol, right? Or Pirtle?
Guy who went to Atlanta. I'm drawing a blank on his name.
To Atlanta?
No. The one who plays with Trey. Oh my gosh.
Let's come back to that.
DeJounte Murray. There we go.
Right.
Like I don't know what their lineup looks like. I don't know who's left and who's not. I would have to see what that roster looks like. Come closer.
I know DeSean. They got I had it right here too.
Yeah, I would have to look at that, but a 5, maybe a stretch 4.
That's all. It would be cool to see him kind of like in that stretch 4 position, but with what they have, we'll see if
he's got to get. I feel like he's got to get a little bit bigger to be a legitimate 5. He's got to put on some weight.
That's my thought.
Yeah.
So Ashley, Corey, the Spurs have been at the bottom of the barrel for a few years now. When do you see them contending now that they have the number 1 overall pick and I'll let you say his name, Victor
Wembanyama.
Again,
I think they need pieces. But they said yesterday that this is probably the most hyped prospect in the history of the NBA. I mean, we're talking about Jordan. We're talking about like there's a lot of hype around this guy. And he's super talented. I mean, he's kind of like if you created a player on 2K that had like every little it's this guy. It's going to be interesting to see, how he makes that transition from Euro basketball to American basketball. I do think he's going to have to put on some weight. I think he's going to go ahead and have to sharpen certain skills. I don't think they're going to be ready next season, but I would say in the next 5 years, I wouldn't be surprised if the Spurs were a championship team.
Yeah, I think they're fighting. They might be fighting for a play-in spot next year, right? Like
there's the photo.
This is that picture
wearing
of Wemby with
the Tony Parker Spurs jersey.
Wow, how full circle is that, right?
Crazy, right? Look how big he was as a kid.
I know. I wonder how old he actually is right here, and his height. He got to be because who's that he's next to?
I think
is that just like a coach or something?
I think a coach or some sort.
Because I bet you that coach though, if he's a basketball coach, he's probably like 6'3" or something.
Well, he's gonna need to do a whole lot because the Spurs was 22-60 last year.
They were hurt. That's why I think they're a team. Not to say that they'll be in the play-in next year. I think they'll be competing for a play-in spot.
They were tanking.
It doesn't matter if you're tanking. That we talked about this 2 days ago on the show, Ashley, where we try to break down like the thought process or the process around the lottery pick and how you can get, the number 1 overall pick. Because you also had Detroit. Detroit was worse.
Yeah.
Like obviously in the NFL, if you're the worst team, you get the first pick, right?
Right. Yeah.
So Detroit, they were sitting there probably like, golly.
That's not how. That's not how it works in the NBA though. They changed the rule.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But when I was watching that, because I got an opportunity to see like 5 minutes of it. You think Dame was sitting there watching like, yo, come on, because they were top 3, right? It came down to Detroit, them, and the Spurs. You think Dame was watching?
Well, there's reports now that the Portland Trailblazers may trade that 3rd pick to try to get Dame some immediate help. I don't think Wemby would have been what Dame needed in this right away, and I don't think he would have been what Dame needed, what the Portland Trailblazers rather needed right away. And I don't think that it would have been the best environment for Wemby. I really believe that he's going to flourish in the San Antonio organization, their system, and with Greg Popovich. I feel like it's a perfect landing spot for him. I'm excited to see what the Spurs do in the next few seasons. I think that this is going to be a really fun team to watch. They play incredible basketball. I'm excited. It's going to be good. I'm excited. So listen, guys, Sirius XM Faction Talk 103. Am I solo dolo? Is this the Ashley show now? We got Brandon.
No, I'm here.
Oh, Brandon's still there. I can't see Brandon.
Yeah, we're
there he is.
Corey
had to take a little cut. Oh, it's over?
We got like 60 seconds.
All right, y'all. Listen, that was an amazing show. Happy Hump Day. We'll be back tomorrow. More NFL, more NBA talk. We'll be talking Heat, Celtics, and everything in between. I am listening. We got to go.
We have 60 seconds.
I know. I'm wrapping up.
You're going that it was going to be a 60-second wrap up?
Yeah, I could do a 60-second. I was going to throw it to you. I had a whole system in place. Go ahead though. No. Go ahead. Listen, Brandon will be coming live from Vegas. Brandon, who do you early predictions to win the fight? Go ahead, give me something.
So you have Lomachenko.
Mm-hmm.
He's a monster. I mean, the guy has almost 400 fights as an amateur, I believe. And then you have Devin Haney. There's a lot of talk that he could potentially be pound for pound the best boxer. It's not that who I think is going to win the fight. Who I want to win the fight is Devin Haney, because I want to see Haney versus Gervonta Tank Davis.
Ooh.
I think that would be great for the sport. I think it would be great for the culture. Usually when you see these big purses and you see these big draws, there's always like some guy from England or a Mexican fighter, right? So seeing two black fighters go head to head in modern boxing, I think would be dope for the culture. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be suited and booted. Ashley, have you ever been to
we go through this all the time, Brandon. No, I have not. So.
Oh, dang. You got to go. You're going. If Devin Haney wins
mm-hmm. and
he fights Gervonta Tank Davis next, you're going.
All right, folks, you heard that. That was 60 seconds of Brandon's fight prediction. You guys heard it. If we go ahead and get that fight, he is taking me to Vegas. But until that happens, I will be here in Miami, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye. Why? The stream going to end?